Olympic Games. There's the man himself. Oblique, what's up, boss?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
First things first. Everybody in your family safe with all this hurricane. Well, it's not a hurricane just yet, but everybody's safe in the family.
Yeah, everyone is okay. Everyone is okay. My mom is not here, so she's good.
Oh, mom is mom off traveling?
Yeah. She is.
Um, I was, in getting ready for this interview, I went back. I looked at some of what you had to say on Sprint on the Netflix series. I also had to go back to a lot of my conversation with your coach Glenn Mills, but we'll get to all of that. I want to ask you straight up, sprinter to sprinter.
Yeah.
When was the first day that you woke up and went, shit, I'm the world champion. Like I am the world's fastest man. When was that? Was it like the day after, or has it not happened yet?
I'll know. I'll know. I haven't feel it as yet, so I'm just still
No.
here processing everything. Yeah.
So okay, so it's been a month and a half, month. Okay, about a month. You have never awakened in the morning and gone, I'm the fastest man in the world.
Yeah, at some point, yes, but when I go out in public and like a lot of people recognize me and want to take picture, that's when I say, okay, I am the world champion for real. But like when I'm by myself and around my friends now, I just feel like a regular guy.
And that right there is how we know that you are a true introvert. But that's something else that we will get to. And I was reminded watching Sprint that you have this affinity for photography, and I love to talk to track and field athletes about the other thing that they're passionate about. For me, it was aviation. Are you as passionate about photography as you are about your sport?
Yeah, I love it. I would spend any money for a camera.
Yeah, it's an
I'm
expensive
serious.
hobby.
Yeah, I love
What
it.
is it about what I mean, aviation for me, it's the freedom, it's the thinking, it's the anticipation. What for you is the thing that you think keeps you so interested in photography?
I think in photography, you have to be creative. It has to do with the creativeness of when you take in that picture and the angle and where. So it's not just taking up your camera and take a picture. It have some similarities like track and field. There are techniques towards it. There are strategy you have to use to know that you know that in certain areas you can't take it because it's going to be lighting and everything. So it's a lot.
I wonder if some of what you love about photography is because it's so opposite to the 100, because the 100 is do the same thing exactly the same way if you're lucky and you'll be a champion. Is it because of that sort of relationship between the two?
Not necessarily, but I just really love it. I just really love it, man. I love it. So I just think that my first camera was a Canon, and then
Good
and then after
choice.
this my yeah, well I started off and then I moved to a Sony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sony and Canon, the world 100-meter champion is an avid photographer. So send him some stuff. Let's get into your phenomenal summer in Tokyo. I talk a lot in my broadcasting about the ghosts of bad races past, right? And for those of you who have never run anything in your life or never competed, if you have had a poor run of form lately and now you're in a big race, sometimes that voice in your head is not always positive. That's the point of your Tokyo experience that I want to get into. I think the deepest, because by now everybody knows. Okay, so in 2022 you breeze through the semifinals, you're in the final, things don't go well, you're fourth. Same thing happens in 2023, and of course in the Olympics you're injured, and you know early in the race you're injured, so it becomes like, okay, I'm just out here because my body has failed me. What is the conversation that you are having in your head when you're doing your thing, right? You're doing your oblique thing. But before that, before we even put the camera on you, what is the conversation that you're having with yourself in your head?
Good question. I was always saying to myself throughout the season, and you all see the races that I have run throughout the season, that this year is going to be my year. And throughout the Diamond Leagues that I ran two Diamond Leagues, which was excellent, and you guys saw it. But the
Hmm.
trials is what showed me that I cannot lose at this world championship. So with regards to my mentality, I said, okay, I think I have overcome everything in the past.
That's deep. And it also segues perfectly into the next two things I wanted to ask you because both of those things, both of those races, I thought were for me, and I will admit to you, I've already admitted to the world. I had you on the podium in Eugene. I
I
had you
remember.
on the podium in Budapest, and I said, okay, that's it with me and Mr. Oblique because he's burned me twice. Did not pick you at all in Paris and said, oh look, see. So but here's the two races I want to talk about specifically because they got me to a point where I went, Ato, if you're really being serious, what you know about the 100, you cannot look at what he did in these two races and say, "Nah, I'm not picking him again." Okay, so here's let's do it in chronological order.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's start first with Lausanne. I have never seen anybody run that fast in that much rain, and I pride myself on having seen just about every race there is. So you tell me what Lausanne taught you because I know what it said to me. What did Lausanne say to you?
It taught me a lot. As I said, Lausanne is what confirmed everything that I cannot lose. But when I went out there, the rain was pouring heavy. And I don't think I want to share this, but I actually left my spikes at the hotel.
Oops.
I have to make
It
some
has happened
calls.
to, listen, it has happened to better sprinters than you, before you, and after you. So don't worry. Don't worry about that. Go ahead.
And I was there and saying to myself, I wonder if this is a sign of me not to go out there and compete because I left my spikes. So I called my therapist, Jeffrey King, and he contact some people at the hotel and actually get my spikes right before I go out there to perform. And when I got that, and I
This
was
is why
like,
coaches have
I,
gray hair, by the way.
yeah, because my coach doesn't know about it.
Of course he doesn't.
He's gonna find out now. And I was there, and I was a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie about that because I was said, why? It's like it's unprofessional for me. I left my tool, my spikes. So I was there striding out with my shoes while everyone was there striding out with in their spikes. So I didn't get any chance at all to run to do any striding out in my spikes.
Oh, wow.
So I think I just get like about one, and then they said it's time to go. And I was like, damn. I said, okay. So when I went out there, I saw the rain, and the rain was pouring heavy. I was like, yes, I was a bit nervous. Then when I lined up in that line, I said, okay, I can't lose. I can't. Is that I switched just changed, and I said to myself, I cannot lose this. This I already won before the race started in my head. And I said to myself, I'm going to execute this race just as how I executed in London, just as how I'm running into a dry weather condition. And when the gun went off, I said, oh, damn, I'm in the lead. And I
That's an
knew,
understatement. Yeah.
yeah, and I knew for a fact, one of the things that gave me this confidence, I knew for a fact that I was going to run a personal best, regardless of me getting a bad start or a good start because of the form that I was in. But I actually get the good start and I was like, okay. Because in my head, I said, I want this personal best, which is why I was dipping so early before I reached the line. And when I crossed that line and I see the time, I was like, I was a bit shocked, but I never really realized what I really did, to be honest. I never realized that until when I went back to the hotel and watched the video and everyone was talking about the condition of. I never know. I think it was something normal for everyone to just run fast in the pouring rain, honestly.
I ran 986 there in perfect conditions. That race, listen, I nobody knows what the future holds, but I think there's gonna come a point where you will look back at that race and go, you know what? That race was kind of like the beginning of what I became. But I want to move very quickly on to the
Yeah.
other race, which I thought was very significant in your 2025, and that is the national championships. Because look, I've been there, seen it all, and I'm watching this race, and I'm watching for the final. I'm streaming it, and
Hmm.
I realize that there's clearly something wrong with you. And because I know, hey, he doesn't have a bye, he's not Diamond League champion, I'm like, no matter what is going on, if he doesn't get top three here, he probably is not going to be in Tokyo. And by then, I'm like, three people ain't beating him in Tokyo.
which is true.
Wow. Okay, it's not even a question of take me through what you're thinking because I know there's a little bit of panic, but there's risk reward. You could get in that race if your leg is not right, and end your career, certainly end your season. Take me through the decision process of I have to go and toe this line against the other seven fastest men in Jamaica. Otherwise, all that I've done this year is for nothing.
I have to honestly at the national trials, I was warming up and I felt something during the warm up process, and I said it to my therapist, and I get it done. I was like, okay, I'm good. I do a few, I do a few strides, and then I said, okay, I'm good to go. So when I went out there from and line up against the guys, and I go into my marks, I just feel this sharp pain stick in my hamstring, and it started to contract. And I was like, damn, if I push off this, it's going to tear. So I raised my hand. So I raised my hand, and this one thing came to my mind. If I don't make it here, I'm not going to run at Worlds, which the emotions start to take over me. And I am just thinking about making the national team. I'm not thinking about position or anything. In that moment, I'm just thinking about making the Jamaican national team in the top three. And what makes it even more emotional was that I was in a good shape as well.
Of course.
So when I raised my hand and I said, said to the guy, you can start the race. You can start the race. I don't think I can make it. So I think what let me run that race, the reason why I get to run that race is that Kishan went over for some water while I went around the back to get my hamstring rubbed out. I think it was a lady.
Yep.
It was a
And
lady.
we are watching this. I mean, I know Jamaicans are anxious. Your fans are certainly anxious. Your family, but even me as a casual observer, I'm watching this and I'm like,
So when I was there, because all of the athletes gathered and you know that they're going to get dehydrated because everyone is nervous. So everyone gathered and drink some water, which that gave me some time to come back. That buy me some time. So when I came back now, I said, okay, I know that the crowd they didn't want me to run. So I said, okay, then I am going to be as casual as possible, but I'm going to react to the gun. So I said, I'm going to see what's happening. So when I react to the gun, I really get a good start. But I never reacted as fast enough I never pushed as fast enough to go with the others. So when I reacted, I said, okay, good, good. I saw Kishan gone already. And I was building and building. And then I said, okay, I not really feel anything. Then I started to run. And then when I started to run, I saw myself like about in sixth place. And I made that move. And I said, okay, I'm going to make this tip and see if I can dip out Akim Blick. And I did that because I know that Kishan already won the race.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when I realized that what I did and what I was feeling, because it wasn't a joke, it wasn't a panic attack either. Because all I'm thinking about is making this team. And when I realized what I was feeling and make that team due to the condition of my body, I said, okay, if I am healthy at the championship, I am not going to lose.
Is there a little part of you at that point that starts to feel like maybe this is destiny, maybe this is God's will, maybe this is I don't want to say invincible, but do you start to feel like, oh, this is going to happen?
Yeah, there was two things in my mind. I was saying, God, why is this what's going to happen now? Because I was so disappointed at the Olympics last year,
Hmm.
and I questioned, and that was an emotional moment for me. So all of those things that happened to me in the past started to come into my head, and then it just started. So I get emotional about it, and I said, I really need to make this team. So I have a little doubt, but at the same time, I still hold on to faith. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this by God's will. I said, okay, if it's your will, God, I will do it. If it's not, fine, let it be.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your parents. I want to talk about your mother first. It's very well documented that she was, even while you were in utero, saying, this my youngest child. He's gonna be different. He's gonna be a mover. He's gonna be fast because all he does all day is kick. I know how Jamaican mothers are. Did she give you a little bit of, I told you so when you the first time you saw her with a 100-meter gold medal?
Repeat, if what? If you told me what? Repeat
If
the
did
question.
she, in other words, did she tell you I told you so when the first time she actually saw you as the world champion when you went back home? Did she say, "Didn't me tell you long time"?
No, 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 no. My
No.
mother, trust me. I would have, my mom is not in Jamaica. So I saw her, I think she's in London. So
Oh, okay.
I went over there to see her and she just say, congrats, son, and that's it. She's very happy though. She's very, 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 very
Awesome.
happy. She's happy. And she say, you finally done it.
So she was
That's
just
it.
she had already seen it. She was just waiting for you.
Yeah, she was just waiting on the moment to happen. But when my race is running though, she cannot watch it. She can't watch it.
My father's the same way. Why?
Somebody
Why
has,
she
yeah.
can't handle the nerves?
No, she can't handle it. Someone have to tell her about it.
Wow. I thought my dad
Yeah.
was the only one. That's unique.
Yeah. Even my brother, sometimes I'm at the stadium, he's in the bathroom. When I'm running, he's in the bathroom. So all of them, it's a nerve wracking for them watching me run.
I mean, I can imagine. I mean, I have kids. I don't know that my fear or my nerves would prevent me from watching them, but I think she might be the only person I've heard, the only parent that I've heard that does not watch. My father would literally turn off the TV and say, "Yeah, somebody call me and tell me what happened." But let's pivot to your dad. Now, you lost your father in 2018, some 7 years ago. I know because it's my job to know your story, that your father was your number one fan, your biggest supporter, the one who always told you that what you did this year in Tokyo was possible. In a different reality, right? He's alive and he watches his son cross that line. And maybe he's in Tokyo, maybe he's in Jamaica, somewhere else. What would your father's reaction have been? Is he the guy who would have been like crying in the corner? Would he have been screaming out loud, tears in his eyes, or a combination? What would that have looked like?
He's a introvert, so I don't. With him, he will be happy, you know. I will like tell people say, "Yeah, man, I'm my son," that, but he's not the type of guy who's going to be emotional about that.
Even to see his son become world
Yes,
champion.
yeah, yeah, for real.
Is that who you get your introvertness from?
Yeah, I think so. I really think that.
Which one of your parents would take more, you think, gets more credit for your athletic ability though?
Which are
That's always a very controversial question.
I think both of them, but
Very
mostly my
diplomatic.
father.
You're gonna do very well with media in this sport. That's a very, very diplomatic answer. So 50-50, not even 51-49, 50-50.
No, they were both athletic.
Lovely. Um,
Yeah.
your dad ran, right? What was your father's best time?
No, he didn't run. He played cricket.
Cricket, right? Okay. Mom ran.
I think so. Back in her days, I think so.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about somebody who I have known longer than you've been alive, your coach, Glenn Mills. I sat next to him on the flight to Oregon. And I don't remember who I had in my picks, but I didn't have Oblique Seville in my picks. I had seen you at Carifta, and I thought you were a good talent. I was a little concerned about your height. For those of you who don't know, he is the shortest sprinter of his generation. He's only 5'6". And I was brainwashed when I was young that my height was a liability. So anyway, back to Coach Mills. Coach Mills and I have been in many different rooms, sat next to each other for countless occasions. If we have said 30 words to each other, it's been plenty. Coach Glenn Mills could not stop talking about this Oblique Seville kid. And I got off the plane thinking, shit, I have to change my damn picks. So tell me first about his role in his role in getting you here, and then as a coach, I want to ask you this specific question about your coach. What does your coach tell you the most? Maybe you could start with that part.
Execution. He always talk about
Even in
execution.
practice, that's the thing you hear the most in practice.
Yeah, execution, and with my technique. That's what he's always doing. It doesn't, and I don't, even in practice, it doesn't matter about the speed. He's just talking about the execution. If I cross that line just saying, hypothetically saying, a 9.4 seconds, and that technique is off, he's going to point it out to you and forget about the time. That's how he is.
Yeah. Most good coaches are.
Yeah, that's how he is. And for him as a person and to me, it's like it's not really a athlete coach relationship. It's like a father and son relationship I have with him. And throughout my years, he taught me a lot about the sports. He said, "Okay, don't worry, your time will come." And I think he's the one who literally saved me from last year disappointment because trust me, I was about the brinks of giving up because I'm saying to myself, when I went back after the finals, I was crying and I said, "Coach, I did everything. I did everything that I could, but the injury just stopped me."
Yeah.
And throughout that time, I was struggling. I was like, so much time I've been there, but I get disappointed. When is going to be my time? I have shown to the world that I can be a medal contender. I can be one of the guys that on the medal podium. And I'm saying, when is going to be my time? And he told me about this. He told me about a story with this guy. He never stopped trying until he actually got a medal. And I said, okay, I take that story and I let
Is
it be a
that
part
Kim
of mine.
Collins?
I don't remember who it was.
Okay.
I don't remember who it was. I can't remember. And he tried with me and he helped me through the year. And when I started to literally have some confidence is I think it was at the Grand Slam, the Grand Slam meet, when I'm starting to get I'm performing better and better each time. Then the Racers Grand Prix is when everything started. Even though I started very slow because it was a strategic run. And I said, okay, then this is good. And that's when my confidence started to build. And I have to give him a big shout out for that.
Yeah, shout out to Glenn Mills, who I feel like there's so many other coaches that get mentioned a lot more. Here's what I mean, apart from everything else that Coach Mills has accomplished, here's to me what the top of Coach Mills' resume is for those of you who don't know. He has coached 400-meter world champions. Oblique is the fourth, Kim Collins, Johan Blake, and of course Usain Bolt. And that's before we talk about all the other athletes that owe their success to him. Um, you talked about how devastated you were after Paris last season. Did you said you felt like giving up? Was that you feeling sorry for yourself, or you really were like, you know what, I have given everything, so what else can I give? How I guess what I'm asking you is how real were those feelings, and how much were you going to actually act on them?
After that run, after the finals, I'm like, I have given my all into this. I don't, when I look back and when I look into everything, I was like, I don't see what happened because I am on the best form of my life.
Mhm.
Everything was perfect. But one thing, we had one problem and no one knew about it because I really got injured after the trials, after the national trials.
Last year.
Yes, I got injured, but I literally bounced back from that injury. But I was hoping that it can hold up through the rounds. And I was like, okay, when I run that semifinal, when I run that semifinal with no lies, I went around as a coach. I only ran 60 meters of that race. Everything else, I shut it down. I shut it down. And up to this day, I have this discussion with him. I said, Coach, last year I was faster than this year. The only difference is at that I just get stronger. My muscles are stronger, so it can keep up. But I said to him, but he doesn't believe me. But the way I felt that year, I was like, what else is there for me to give in this sports? Because I have given it my all throughout the season. So when I went back home, I was like, mm-mm. I feel so sorry for myself, honestly. I felt sorry for myself because I said, there's no more for me to do. There's nothing more for me to do to actually be on this podium. And we have countless of, and he talked to me like every Sunday I've seen him and have conversation and trust me, he really, really helps me.
You know who else wanted to quit last year? Julian Alfred.
Wow.
Yes. After she won World Indoors, the pressure sets in. She told it to me on an Instagram live with her coach. She wins World Indoors, the pressure sets in. She's like, I can't deal. I want out. And same kind of conversation. Um, excuse me. Last year, no, let's go all the way back to 2022 because you mentioned just now that you had ran a pretty spectacular semifinal. I thought that your semifinal in Oregon is one of the best semifinals I'd ever seen. And just like Paris, I was like, how can somebody who looks that good in the semifinal not be able to produce in the final? So my question to you is this. At what point did somebody come and say, Oblique, it is not a physical thing with you, it's in here?
Well, people have to always say, and I can, and I said this to myself and others. Nothing is wrong with my mental space. Nothing is wrong with my head. Because think about it. My father died in 2018,
Mhm.
December, and I won in champs, March. Think about that. And for Oregon, I can only say for Oregon, it was inexperience. For every other championship, it was just injuries. But it's not everybody is going to know about it.
Of
Like my
course.
camp will know that I am injured and I am trying to catch up, playing catch up. Even in Budapest, I was playing catch up. I almost lost to Akeem Blake at the national trials. I ran 10 flat at the national trials in 2023. And I came back and ran 9.86. And it's a mental issue. Think about it. So there's no point in time I'm said to myself that I have a mental issue. I will say to myself that I am unlucky because injury is always what stopping me from reaching my goals and reaching my best. And even my coach said it to me that nothing is wrong with his head, nothing is wrong with his head. He's good, he's fine.
And coach would know.
Yeah, he will know.
And yet, I know that you have a doctor that played a part in your win in Tokyo. Tell me about that relationship. When did it start, and why did it start?
Good question.
Ah, two so far tonight. Two good questions. I'll work on the rest.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good question, man.
I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to know that? That happens to me
Mm,
all the time. I
yeah,
know stuff
yeah,
I'm not supposed to know. I say stuff I'm not supposed to say, and then people get upset, and I go,
yeah. You put me
"Oh
on the
shoot,
spot,
maybe
man.
I'm not supposed to know that."
Yeah, okay, okay. I work I work with a number of doctors and therapists. So I work with Eddie, Sean Kecker, and Dr. Muller. And Dr. Joe not Jones, Mansing.
Hmm.
That's my Jamaican doctor. But Dr. Muller is I went to Dr. Muller like in for the first time, and he's the one that I have to give him a shout out as well.
Of
He
course.
always said to me, one of the things that he said to me was that the first time I ran 9.8, I went to him and he said that your muscle cannot manage this amount of speed. You're too small. And he asked me my weight and he's like, I was like 148 pounds running 9.8. That's not good for the muscles. So I have always seen him and he has played a vital role in my career. And for each time when I see this man, I actually run fast.
I knew that this year was a different oblique when I saw you put on what 15, 20 pounds this year.
Yeah, I think about 15.
Yeah, I saw it and I went, Oh, somebody is taking the gym very seriously this year. That's gonna be a problem. That to me was the last. If there was one thing I thought that was missing from my checklist of there's no way he misses the podium, that was the last one. So the 200 was my favorite event. So let's pivot to your 200-meter aspirations. The last Jamaican superstar that told me that they thought they could be as good, if not better, in the 200 than they were in the 100 was Shelly Ann Fraser Price. So when you said it recently, I was like, oh. When you hear 100-meter guys asking for 200, you know something's about to happen. What is it about that race that you love, first of all, especially given your height? And two, what's Coach Mills' assessment of your 200-meter abilities in the future?
I mean, I have a good speed endurance.
Yes, we saw
That's
that in
what he,
Tokyo.
yeah, that's what he literally picked out.
But why do
And
you love it?
I think it just give him more time. It's like the 100 is so quick. And everyone say the same thing. The 100 is so quick and technical. In the 200, if I even make a slight mistake, I mean, you can get paid for it, but you can pay for that. But
Not as much as the 100.
yeah, but you have much time to come back in the race.
Of course.
And I think it just look like a fun race to me. 200 of him, 200 meter,
And you can run a great
200
turn,
meter.
so you're halfway there.
No, that's going to be my problem. That's going to be one of the hardest problems.
I actually think you listen at 5'6". At 5'6", Coach Mills is gonna get you right on that turn because
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
no,
things if I could pick the 10 best turn runners of all time, they're all like my height, 5'9", and most of them are my height and shorter. Think Christian Coleman, think John Drummond, Andre Kaysen, those kind of guys. Sorry, I went a little too far back for you in saying Andre Kaysen. I'm an older sprinter. But no, I think Coach Mills is gonna get your turn right. So you
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
you
for sure,
really
for
do
sure.
you really do love the event. That's great.
No, yeah, I really love the event, but I really have an issue, which it's going to be. I'm just see for now. So when the time comes, I see what happens.
Yeah, you have another issue right there in Jamaica. It's called Lavelle.
No, man. I think he has the second fastest turn in the world.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see? I mean, he was in a race with. I mean, not that Bernard is a great turn runner, but he was in a race with Taboho, Noah, Benarik, Zarnell. He
That's
that
that.
first, yeah, that turn he ran in Tokyo was like,
Yeah, if he could have finished, if he could have finished, he would have won that race. But you know that those guys are well experienced than him. Well, I love that how he hold his composure.
yes, he did, and that's why
Yeah,
I know he's not going. He's not going anywhere, barring injury. There's gonna be Lavelle's gonna. But I feel the same way about you. But we'll get to that. I just don't. I think Lavelle is here to stay. I mean, first try he gets a medal.
yeah.
So your life has changed a lot. Take me back to during during the so-called bad times. The truth is, look, being fourth in the world is not bad times. Obviously, sprinters want to win everything yesterday, and I know how you think and how you feel and how much you wanted to be world champion. But take me back to what it was like to live in Jamaica when things were not going well. What was your relationship like with the press and with the fans?
Trust me, I never had any experience with the fans, and they
So
speak with me
nobody
to be
ever came
honest.
up to you and nobody ever came up to you and said, "Oblique, on to you, boy. You can't." Like you never had
Yeah,
any of that.
they have done it before, but they do it in a casual way. They just say it in a way which make it sound like they're cursing me or anything like that. But
That can be
I have
worse.
yeah, no, yeah, no, but I never take it as anything like that because I always said this. If you put yourself out there as a target at all time, you're supposed to be performing.
Mhm.
And everyone is going to have a high expectation based off your performance. So they expect you to win. And you have to just take that as a motivation to say, okay, I'm going to do my best. But as I said previously, it's just injuries were stopping me. So when they're saying things about me and stuff, I saw some certain things on the internet, it didn't bother me. It's just the only thing that bothers me is that only if you guys know the real truth about what is happening. But you cannot tell the world what's going on with you. You have to deal with your own problems. But there are at some point it get annoying. And I was even annoyed by myself, like every time so fourth, then eighth place, and I said, no man. And that get to my head, you know. Literally get to my head, myself fourth. A matter of fact, I start from my first international day.
Semi-final.
Semi-final, fourth place. 2022 Oregon World Championship, fourth place. 2023, fourth place. And then Paris Olympics, eighth place. I'm like, so all of those things came into my mind and said, Jesus, do you belong in track and field?
Mm.
I just here to fill lanes. So those thoughts was in my head, but I said, you're just here to fill lanes? I'm saying, no. And I said to myself, I have to change this. And so said, so done.
And what's it like now? Because now, listen, I spend enough time in Jamaica to know that, listen, when I am coming to Jamaica, let's say I'm coming for charms or whatever I'm coming for, by the time I get to Fort Lauderdale or Miami airport, the Jamaican baggage handlers or people working the airport recognize me and they're like, the talk has already started. I know how the fastest humans on the planet are revered in Jamaica. You are now the world's fastest man. If we followed you around for a day and you weren't just at home playing video games, if we followed you around for the day, what does that look like now? I mean, people shouting your name. What is that like and what does that feel like to you? Because you've definitely experienced both sides.
Yeah. Honestly, like everywhere I go, people know me. And
Hmm.
sometimes I think my brother kind of look like I would say, no, it's my brother. But I run a joke and say it's my brother. But in my community, this is literally a joke, and I don't know why people think this. People look at my brother and thinks that he's the runner. And in my head, I say, okay, that's good for me. At least I can walk in peace and freeness. But when I'm in Kingston, Jamaica, and like if I'm going to the supermarket or anywhere, people is going to recognize me. I want to take picture.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's like everywhere I go, people recognize me and telling me congratulations and stuff.
But you have already said earlier in this interview, you are a natural introvert. So I mean, I've seen it too with Julian Alfred. How have you had to adapt your personality? Because I remember being told very early in my career, remember that some people are seeing you and meeting you for the first time. So they don't care if you're having a bad day and they don't care if what you have going on. They want their picture, they want their autograph. How have you adapted your personality to deal with the fame and what it entails being the World 100-meter champion?
It's just like acting.
That's
Okay.
honest.
It's just like acting because sometimes you're going to have a bad day, but you're going to have this young kid wants to take a picture with you. You cannot spoil his day, even though your day is bad. So you have to put on a little show for him, even to smile, fake it.
Yes. Yes.
So for me, I just sometimes it even makes my day to be honest, because like taking picture, at least somebody recognize you and you look into yourself and say, okay, people in Jamaica really know who you are. So even on a bad day, I have to adjust myself and my personality for them.
That's a fabulous answer. That's a absolutely fabulous answer because that is literally what you are. If you called me up and asked me that question, I said, Oblique, listen, the picture is a snapshot. Make their day and then keep it pushing. That's fun. That's a fantastic answer. I always say that. Okay, no. Before I get to that question, you are now the world 100-meter champion. You don't know it yet, or maybe you do because you have knowledgeable people around you. You are going to get everybody's best shot. Kishane, Noah, Benarik, Sembine, everybody. Here's what I want to know. What has to change for you to be world champion in 2027 and Olympic champion in 2028? And what has to stay the same? So two things. What has to stay the same and what has to change for you?
Strength is one.
That has to change. That has to get. That has to improve.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I'm, well, I don't like talk about strength to be honest, and gym, but I think strength is one of them. And just to be injury free.
What
If I'm
says?
injury free, if I'm injury free in a race, I'm not going to lose. I don't think I'm going to lose. I think I'm going to be on the podium, and that's my mindset. And it doesn't matter if I have lost yesterday, if I lose yesterday and the other day before. In my head, I'm going to win. So that's the mentality I have each time I'm performing. So I always said, even my coach said it. Long as I'm injury free, I'm going to be dangerous. And I said, this is my quote. Injury free oblique civil is a dangerous civil.
Yeah, no question. So that's the thing. So that's the thing that you want to stay the same. That you stay injury free.
Yes.
Because I could counter that and say, okay, well, Oblique, you haven't been injury free for the last 3 seasons. You were injured last year. You were injured in 2023. So is that something that has to change? What give me something else that you think has to stay the same.
Something else?
Something else. Because somebody in the chat might say, no, no, he that needs to improve. What have you been doing? What have you been doing for the past 4 seasons that you say, that's the thing that I have to keep doing exactly the same, if not better.
Oh, like, okay, training.
Okay, so you're not Mr. Training the teachers, coaches pet.
No, I go to training like every day, but my training has to change. Like not the program or anything, but my training in general has to change.
Oh,
How?
oh,
I just know this. I want to train more than how I'm training right now. That's it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. You're a fast guy. Okay, let's get to this. I want to take some chat. I want to take some questions from the chat. But while I get some of those ready, let me ask. Let me. I don't want you to think too much about these questions. These questions are kind of rapid fire. I want you to um just give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Right? Favorite actor.
Favorite actor? Killian
Favorite
Murphy.
actor. Eddie
Killian
Murphy.
Murphy.
Good choice.
Killian, not Eddie Murphy. Killian Murphy.
Oh, Killian Murphy. Okay, my
Not
bad.
Eddie Murphy. Yes.
Funniest man alive.
Funniest man alive? Oh man, let me think about that one. Who is really
Alright,
funny?
we'll come back to that one. Favorite
Yes.
movie.
Favorite movie? It can be anime?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Naruto.
Ah, favorite female sprinter ever.
Julian Fraser.
Favorite football player ever.
Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Trust me. I know how old you are. I knew it
Yeah,
wasn't the
yeah.
Brazilian one.
You think I'm going to
Favorite
say Pele?
favorite favorite food.
Rice and peas and oxtail.
Big shot there. Favorite place to compete outside of Kingston.
London.
Why London?
That's where
Figures.
the Jamaican crowd is.
Figures. You ready for Funniest Man Alive?
Funniest man alive? Who is the funniest man alive? Okay, maybe I would say Kevin Hart, but not really. That's so. I
What is
use
it with
Kevin Hart.
what is it with your generation and Kevin Hart? Anyway, favorite country other than Jamaica?
Switzerland.
Hmm.
It's just the beauty of it.
Not the UK.
Yeah, I love the UK,
I
but
know, man.
I think I love you. I think I love Switzerland.
I do too. Favorite singer slash dancehall artist.
Dancehall artist.
Either one. I don't want to limit you to singer because you're young and Jamaican.
Oh, Vice Cartel.
Big shot there.
Yeah, man, Vice Cartel. Which one? Female singer now.
Yeah. How about a female?
Let me see. I think I'll go with people. I think people may roast me for this one.
Mm-mm.
If I say it, Jesus Christ. Doja Cat.
Doja Cat.
Just because she's lyrical. She's lyrical. That's the whole reason. She's lyrical.
All right, chat. You guys are up. Let me see some. Let me see if I can find some. Let me see if I can find some questions. Um. I have one. I have one, and I'm glad that somebody kind of mentioned it there, but it triggered my it triggered something. I this interview would not be complete without asking you this. So, and you can go back and check. You ain't gotta take my word for it. When I made my picks, I ended the 100-meter segment by saying it is not outside the realm of possibilities that Oblique Seville is the world champion in 2 weeks. And then we are in Tokyo, round one. You no. Listen, we know how it ends. Don't cover your face now. Oblique Seville, round one, round one opening race, and I'm like, I'm not even. I almost don't even need to look at you because I'm like, he breezes through the rounds. I saw Paris, I was there. I saw Budapest, I was there. I saw Eugene, I was there. He's gonna breeze through the rounds. Set, pow. And I literally said, I don't know which gun Oblique Seville heard, but that ain't gonna cut it in the next round, right? So, first question, what was going on there? Because that is not like you.
Good question. I thought you would pass that one. I thought I would pass
Mm-mm.
that one. I thought the live would end. I would not talk about that. Yeah, I've said it into an interview before, but it's not. I'm sure. So before I went out there, I was feeling my calf, which is a part of my injury concerns. So I was feeling my calf. I was like, I hold my head. I was saying, no, not no, not no, not no. So I said, okay, I'm going to come up with a strategy, just as the same as what I ran at the national trials. But, but the gun went, and I was like, oh damn. And I realized that the gun went. So I get up and start to run. And when I get up and realized like, how far the guy was, I was like, damn, no man, me have to catch up back. But what after that race, when I realized what I did, I was like, me still can't lose. But the real reason behind everything was that I was feeling something in my calf. I was feeling something in my calf, and I was like, me I rub it out, and I rub it out, and me I say, no sir, this not safe. So me say me gonna be casual, but that being casual left me in the blocks.
Yeah,
And me and
you are a
literally
little too
that
casual.
was that was literally I run so hard just to come back. So you know that the rounds as well. So for what I did and to come back into the finals and win, the each I think the each take a lot out of me more than even the finals.
I don't think that the casual observer of our sport understands how it's like. I think a lot of people watch nature documentaries and they see how harsh living in nature is, and they don't understand that that's literally the world that I lived in and what you live in now. So you have this issue, and I knew I was worried because Lewis tried to get that answer out of you for NBC, and you were like, and I went, oh boy, that's either here or it's something physical. Turns out that it was something physical. But because this is the jungle, and if you want to be the apex predator, you have to fight off everybody else. Noah Lyles breezes through his first round and says, "Oh yeah, that boy's in the back panicking," or something to that effect. Now, I'll stop right there by saying I understand that the game has to be played, the mental game. So I understood why Noah said it, but I also understand why the civilians, as your fans are, I understood are called, were very pissed off. But what was your reaction when you heard what Noah had said?
Okay. And I'm going to be real with this one.
I would hope that you've been being real for the last 54 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to be no, yeah, I've been real, honestly, but I'm going to be real with this
Thank you.
one.
Thank you.
I didn't know what he said until someone said it to me. And when somebody sent it to me, I was dying to run in his semifinals. I was hoping that I get his semifinals because trust me, that semifinals would have been all over the world
So it pissed you off.
because it pissed me off. And I said to myself, no, I see what he's doing. So I am the weak fence here. So he's trying to get into my head so he can, because he knows within himself that he's not in the best shot, in his best form. So he's targeting me. He didn't target Kishane. And I think he didn't target Kenny. He targeted me. So I said, okay, I see where this mind game is going. So I said, okay, I'm going to just take this step by step. I'm not going to let him get into my head. And I can say this to myself and to say this to my fans. I cannot blame him for what he did because that's what's bring rivalry and that's what makes this sports more fun. I understand that there are my fans, the fans out there will look at it at a different angle,
Hmm.
but he will do whatever it takes in that manner, mental space, to get
And
into
you
my
should
head.
too. And you
Yeah,
will too, right? Yes.
of course. And I'm not because I've always said this. If my foot is, if I have a, just, I'm just saying this, hypothetically saying, if I'm running against no one, my foot broke, and my foot is break, and my foot broke, me and Henry him not beat me. That's the rivalry between me and him. I'm not, me just a and I think it's the same for him too.
Well, listen, every time you and Noah race, I get a glimpse of what it was like from my era where we did line up and there was a lot of shit talking back and forth and all respectful, but it's like the as I said, the game has to be played. You have a winning record against Noah in on the circuit, and how much of that do you tie into the fact that when Noah starts to play the mind games, which you and I both agree are always going to be played, that you have always had this attitude of as your thing goes, I'm focused on me, I'm not worried about you.
It was always been that way. It was always been that way. And I think he said something into an interview that Oblique Seville is going to do good in the semi-final, and that's going to be hit. I've studied my athletes, and I said, okay. I said, okay. And at Paris, I said, all right, game is on. But you guys know what
And you
happened?
beat him in the semifinal in Paris.
And I beat him in the semifinals. And now the narrative is going to spread that Oblique Seville run his best race into the semifinal. So now he has the edge over me. Even though I have beat him even though I've beat him outside of championships. So they are saying that Oblique Seville is good outside of championships and he chokes in championship. So I said, okay, I know that. So he see me as this. He's a target. But what I realized was that I think what happened at the Lausanne Diamond League opened his eyes. I think
Everybody's eyes.
I think it opened his eyes. But what gave him a little bit of confidence was the heat that I ran at Tokyo.
Yes.
So he said, "Okay, I'm going to target him now. I'm going to play and I'm going to play on his mental space because of what happened." And he cannot. And I said, I cannot blame him for this because everyone out there wants to win, and you have to go out there and put on a show because at the end of the day, track and field needs that.
It is literally the best thing that could happen to your event. Because you tell me if now that we get, I mean, obviously, finally, we have an off year next year, but then we
Mhm.
have again Worlds, Olympics, Worlds. You tell me if your event is more watchable or less watchable now that we had Jamaica with their four in a row, USA with their four in a row, and now you think you've started another four in a row coming here, and it's Noah and everybody else's job on the other side to prove that wrong. You tell me that your event is not going to earn more money and get more eyeballs now that there's a real rivalry, and you and Noah ain't pushing each other, and I have not seen y'all take cheap shots at each other. But again, because the game has been played and because no matter who you root for, you want to see the outcome. You guys, you guys just made your event more watchable.
Yeah, and you have to take it. You can take back into the past with Usain Bolt and Justin Gatlin. So it's just the same. So it's that heritage in the sports which show the dominance with USA and Jamaica. So now it's our generation is USA and Jamaica, and there's no not disrespecting to the other country, but the whole challenge is you're going to have is USA and Jamaica, USA Jamaica, USA Jamaica, and that's what people live to watch. So with that being said, I think going into the future in the World Championship and the Olympics, it's going to be watched. It's going to be a watchable event, and a lot of people is going to tune in. And if we starting to do more trash talk, it's going to draw a lot of crowds, and who knows, more sponsorship.
I am very glad to hear you say that because I don't, I am asked often for my opinions, and I tend to say, I wish that they would just be honest about how they feel about each other. People can understand that. In every other sport, you have athletes who do not like each other or their attitude, this one's attitude bothers the other. And because the athletes are open about it, more people watch. Muhammad Ali used to say that whether you like me or hate me, you are tuning in to see me win or to see me lose.
Yeah, and the next thing for me personally, everyone has me as an introvert, but trust me, I am not really an introvert. I can make trash talk as well.
That's your disguise. That's
Yeah,
your mask.
I can because he said something, and I was like, that this thought came to my head, and I was going to tweet about it, but I'm not going to do that. I just say, okay, fine. I'll leave that into next year because he said I'm panicking, but Sonic, I said I'm panicking.
All right. As we wrap up, I always like to end on something that's a little bit outside of sports. I always say that sports lessons are really just life's lessons. There's somebody out there who is going through something the way that you were going through something with not getting what you wanted in 22, not getting what you wanted in 23. By your own admission, having a very disappointing Olympics that had you in absolute despair. That person is going to see this interview and go, yeah, and he has a gold medal now, and look how happy he is. Can you help that person get through what they're going through, please?
Of course. Yeah, because there's always some moments when you feel like giving up, and you have to see at the brighter picture because you have to put God first in everything that you do. And I have used this scripture. I think it's Ecclesiastic 3 verses 12, and it's talking about season. There's a purpose in every season, and there's going to be a purpose in your season one day because there's a time to live, a time to die, a time to win. And I used that scripture in my reality of life and said, okay, there are actually time for everything in your life, and there's going to be a time when you're going to win. And there's another scripture in Revelation that shows the pain that you're feeling. I don't remember I don't remember it, but it's talking about what the plans that God has for you. And I can use all of those scriptures into my life. And by getting closer to God, it shows me a lot that you have to be patient in everything that you are doing because your timing is not God's timing. God will decide when you is going to reap your reward and to get your glory.
I could not think of a better way to end this evening's interview. Thanks to all of you who joined us live on the chat. Thanks to Norman Pert for making this happen, and of course, big thanks to you, Oblique.
Yeah.
You make my life better, because I literally get to follow your journey along with everybody else. Sit down in the best seat in the house and watch you guys run times that I could only have dreamed of. So all the best to you, and thank you for what you have brought to our sport.
Thanks.
All right. So a week from tonight, I will have 110 high hurdles champ Cordell Tinch. So I hope you will join me then. Thanks to
I will tune
everybody.
in. I
Say
will tune
again.
in, man. I will tune in. I support you from
Lovely,
Hackney.
lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Glad to hear that. So thanks to all of you once again, and we will see you next week, Thursday. Thanks for joining me.